Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Crazy Life. It's the two of us here, Tara and Austin, your wonderful hosts. We've got a great episode for you today. We talk a little bit about some funny and wild stories from our times working growing up. We talk a little bit about the things that annoy us about each other. And we talk about things that maybe you shouldn't say to your mother. So, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with all your friends, and remember, life is crazy. We can't change that, but we can talk about it. Nice coat.
Oh, I know where this is going. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
No, seriously, I wasn't even going for anything.
You weren't even going there?
I was just saying
you weren't
it was
referring
a really nice
to
coat.
episode
I'm sorry you assuming I have ulterior motives when I try to pay you a genuine compliment.
Really? Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
This was a great present I got.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Merry
yeah,
Christmas,
I know where
by the
we're
way.
going with that. Merry Christmas. Yeah, and I'll say thank you so much. This is beautiful.
You're very
beautiful.
welcome.
I love it. Wear it all the time. Wow, here we are again.
Yeah.
My son. My son.
My mother.
My mare. Right. That's French.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
those 4 years of high school French, they're really paying off.
Hey, you did good in French. I remember that.
I did, and I
Yeah.
proceeded to never use it again once I left high school.
Uh-oh. Okay, but that's, we will soon.
I am technically
Love
bilingual.
French.
Yeah.
Technically.
Officially on a document, I am bilingual. In practice, English.
Do you think if we go to Quebec, do you think you could speak it?
I might be able to understand it.
I feel like you would.
I don't know if I could speak it.
Because you're super smart. You're super smart.
Yeah.
Let's get real.
I think I could understand it. I don't think I would be able to speak it. At least not at first. Not at all.
Let me ask you this question because our audience doesn't really know you, but you are extremely intelligent, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, right?
Thank you.
But you work on a level that I consider myself intelligent, but you're right, crazy.
Please keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever find that it's hard to be like what I call insanely intelligent?
Honestly, God, there's no real way to answer this question without sounding like I'm just like pumping myself up with how smart I am. Honestly, I think it actually is.
Yeah.
It can be difficult just because you just notice things about like just the world and how things work.
I know you
that
do.
maybe you probably would think, I might have been better off and happier without noticing that.
You think that?
Sometimes, yeah. Like I like paying attention to things that happen, things in world events sometimes. Whereas there's plenty of people that are like, you know what? I'll just go by my day to day. I'm happy with that.
Right.
Whatever else is happening doesn't concern me until it affects me directly.
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly, there's nothing even inherently wrong with living like that, like to be clear. But when you're like constantly out there looking for information, you learn a lot about the world and you're like, oh, so that's how things are like over there, huh? Oh, that's how these places are running things. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you definitely spend more time analyzing, and your brain works in a different way, that's for sure.
And it's also very easy for me to overthink things.
Right.
And just work myself into a complete stalemate.
Yeah.
Where I'm so busy thinking about something and the right way to approach something and the right way to say something that I'll just do and say nothing.
You nailed it there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, from someone that in school, I remember they always wanted you to go to the class like for accelerated and, and that was not something that you wanted. But when I think about you and how highly intelligent you were getting A+ and everything. You were always the one helping everybody else in school do their work, right? Because you always finished first. Your first job ended up being, because you were still kind of trying to figure out your whole pathway in life, right? Your first, I do think it was your first job. Where was that?
That was at Shoeless Joe's restaurant. It was when I was... I would have been 19.
You would have been 19.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first real job. I had applied for jobs before. Like, I was hitting up McDonald's. I was hitting up Wendy's.
Do you remember when McDonald's wouldn't hire you?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe... I nearly went right through their front door. I could not believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember you and Dad would say all the time, like, you've handed in your resume. Now you've got to put in the calls, make sure they've received it.
Yep.
And I would make the calls. I was just like, yeah, I just wanted to see if you got my resume. And they're like, yep, we got it.
Do you remember when you went for that job at Burger King? Oh my God, I'm just remembering this.
Oh, I forgot about
Burger King at Ritson and Taunton. And you were like, can you drive me there? I'm like, sure. And you were wearing your full suit.
I was wearing a full suit and tie and everything.
I was sitting there like, dude, I think you're overdressed. And you were like, no, this is what I'm wearing.
And there was a full squad of people interviewing that day, and I was the only one in a suit and tie and dress
Well,
up.
I mean, you argued with me. I'm like, I think you should dress up, but I think, you're walking into a fast food place a little overdressed, but, all learning experience. But you ended up getting a job at Shoeless Joe's.
Yes, I did. And I worked there for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You got to tell them a little bit more, Austin.
Yeah,
Go for it.
So what had happened was I was in school for web design for only a year. It just honestly wasn't for me. I realized. So stopped that, and I was in a point where I was like kind of figuring out what to do. So in the meantime, I needed work. Like, we all knew that. So one of the restaurants we would go to all the time around that time was Shoeless Joe's. And we just happened to stop in there one day. And I remember you were saying, like, hey, do you guys need anyone?
Well, I knew them very well there. Yeah. So what did you do there? What do you have any funny stories about being in the pit of Shoeless? Because you weren't the cook. You were
I was a prep cook.
That's right.
Later on, I got promoted to dishwasher.
Oh my God, promoted! I can't. Oh my gosh, for everybody that works in kitchens right now, I mean, kudos to you. Yeah. What's your funniest story there?
Okay, so at the top of my head, there was this one time where we all came into work, and the hot water wasn't working.
Yeah.
Just straight up, something was going on, wasn't working at all. If you're not aware of this, if you don't have hot water, you cannot open your business, like your restaurant business.
It's part of the health and safety code.
Exactly, yeah. So we were just like, we can't really do anything. And even a lot of our jobs, like even if I wanted to stay behind and like prep a couple things, like you kind of need hot water for a lot of the stuff we do. Mm-hmm. Couldn't boil anything, or even... Well, we could boil things, but like, anyway. So we called in and we were like, all right, so nothing here is working. We don't have the hot water. We can't open. Can we go home? No.
No, you weren't allowed to go home.
No, we just have to stay there and just
stand around,
find a way to entertain ourselves while we wait for hot water to possibly get repaired. So, where this Shoeless Joe's was in a big entertainment complex near a movie theater. So, that day, we decided to just leave and watch Deadpool in theaters.
You went and saw Deadpool?
Yeah.
Did the owner know? The owner, who happened to be a very good friend of mine?
No. Well,
he didn't know?
No.
Okay.
No, and we came back, and nothing had changed. at all.
Still no hot water.
Still no hot water. We
Yeah.
ended up opening our doors for the first time at 5:30 that night.
That's a big loss because that particular one did a lot of business.
It was one of the most
Yeah,
successful.
it was the busiest in Ontario.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, I'm surprised that you would say that is your funniest experience because there was a bathroom issue.
Yes. Yes. So there was this time, it was when I was working on dishes, because when I was on dishes, I would do the late
Your promotion.
nights. Yeah, exactly. My promotion. Wasn't a pay increase, by the way, but it was a promotion.
Yeah.
But it was just this late night. It was pretty slow. There was a guy at the bar who was ridiculously drunk. The kind of drunk you would think only exists in movies, like that kind of drunk. And he wandered into the bathroom, didn't come out for a while,
Yeah.
and then stumbled out, like barely able to keep himself up, just waddling back to the bar or out the door. And you just see water slowly coming out from under the door.
So freaking gross
So
right now.
Someone goes into that bathroom,
Yeah.
don't remember who.
Yeah.
They come out like, okay, the toilet is destroyed.
Oh my God. I remember this.
Yep, the whole bathroom's
Yeah.
flooded. Listen, I know it's slow right now. We need someone to go in there and clean it up. And have you ever had like that moment where you're not really looking at anybody, but you can feel everyone looking right at you at the same time?
Shoot, you shouldn't have got that promotion, Austin. They probably wouldn't have looked at you.
Every server, every cook, every manager there, all telepathically
you.
had that moment of, you're up, dish boy.
So you had to clean that water?
I had to clean it all up.
Dude, wasn't it poo-poo too?
Yeah.
So, oh
Yeah.
my God. I hope when you got home that night you showered.
Yeah. When I got home that night,
Ugh, so gross.
I wanted to shower before I left, and we didn't have a shower there. But I was
No.
just going to hop in a sink and just blast myself with hot water. If
That's disgusting. But you know what? That's an interesting thing. These are some of the things that people in the service industry have to deal with. You know, it's one thing to go in there and eat. It's another thing to really appreciate all of the things that these people do.
I say this all the time when I talk about the years I worked as a cook, and I'll say it again. If everyone in the world had to spend one mandatory year working in the service industry,
Yep.
we'd probably have world peace.
World peace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's
It's eye-opening.
Yeah, it's eye-opening, just
Right.
the way people just look at you differently when you're working in that kind of sector. You just see how people get treated sometimes, and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
If-
From the servers to the people in the
Yeah.
back ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do understand that.
For sure, yeah. Like
Okay.
this wasn't
Interesting.
necessarily at Shula's, but one more story. Less on that kind of note, more on just like sometimes what customers can be like. I was working at the restaurant I worked at after I left Shula's. We were having an incredibly busy night. Someone orders a pound of wings.
And you were the cook there.
I was a cook
Let's
there.
be clear.
I was a full-on
Very
cook
popular
there.
place in Whitby.
Yeah,
Yeah, very good.
very good, very
Yep.
good. Great food, reasonable prices.
You don't work there anymore.
No, I don't.
Okay.
But they asked for a pound of wings, well done. Easy enough. Put the wings in the fryer, let them do their thing, serve them, send them out. Comes back, not well done enough, the customer's saying. So I go, okay,
Can I interject? Who orders their wings well done?
this guy apparently.
Like, it's not prime rib.
So the thing is, again, like this was a crazy busy night. We
Yeah.
got a full board of orders.
Yep.
I was like, okay, this guy wants his wings more well done. That's fine. Put the wings back in, put
Back
them
in.
for double the time to make sure they're really, really well done.
Crispy, I feel like.
Very
Is that what he's
crispy.
saying?
So send them back out. Come back. Not well done enough. So I put them in the fryer again, take them out of the fryer, put them in the oven, blast it in the oven, take them out again, send them back out.
The poor server.
They come back. Not well done enough.
Yeah, see, this is where it's a good thing I wasn't there that night.
So at this point, I'm like getting mad. because I've got stuff to do that's more urgent than this single order of wings. So I drop them again in the fryer, put them in, and I just let them sit there for
So basically they're burning.
By the time they come out, they are burnt.
Right.
And I put them in the bowl. I send them out. The server's looking at it. She's like, Austin, I can't serve this. These are burnt. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I can't make them more well done without burning them.
Right.
So she relents. She's like, okay. She takes them out.
Yep.
A few minutes later, she comes back without the wings. And she just looks at me, that dead inside expression. He says they're the best wings he's ever had.
Oh my gosh. So they were burnt.
They were burnt.
So why not
they
just
were borderline
say,
turning to
I want my
ash.
wings burnt.
Yes,
I cannot with people right now. I cannot. Yeah.
And that's one of the nicer stories to come out of
Well,
service. So everyone, work service for a year. You'll have a whole new perspective
I
on
don't disagree.
life.
I don't disagree. Now, my first jobs were growing up. I did a lot of babysitting, as we talked about in the previous episodes.
Yeah.
My dad was the manager of a really big hotel. It was the hotel in Collingwood. It was called the Highwayman Inn. So he would tell me that I had to work in the restaurant, in the dining room there. So when I was 12, I started working in the dining room in the mornings in the summertime. So there was a lot of stuff that went on back then. I got paid $2.25 an hour. That was minimum wage. And I was the bus girl. So everybody knew me. I was the manager's daughter, sure, but the bus girl was like the promotion to dishwasher.
Right.
And I feel like it was a level, maybe even a level below, because I was the one that kind of had to set the tables. I was the one that had to de-set, and you had to carry a big tray. It was almost as long as this table. And we weren't allowed to carry it like this. We had to carry it on our shoulder. So we would put it on a tray, load everything up, and then we'd have to kneel down, get underneath it, and lift it up.
Right.
It sucked. I hated that job so much.
Yeah.
But when I would babysit, there were times, because I feel like I might have been the black sheep in my family. I'm not sure. What do you think?
The black sheep, how so?
Because I was always like, okay, if you're going to tell me to do something, I'll do it. But I've always been a person that'll do it and maybe add a little bit of a twist. So I would babysit, and, there was, boyfriends and stuff. And a lot of times, I babysit every single weekend. So when the kids would go to bed, sometimes if I was dating somebody, they would come. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I'm so sorry
I was
right
about
now.
to say, boyfriends and babysitting, that's two very interesting
like they
words
come over,
to
like
put
we'd sit on the front step. I was young. It wasn't anything naughty, but,
Right.
You would kind of sneak them in. I remember one time they called me their nanny. I think I was about 15, maybe 14. It was the big dentist in town. Dr. Sombarak, I said his name. So they used to want me to come over in the evenings because they did a lot of social stuff. Like they were really well off, in my opinion. They had the biggest house in Collingwood. And there were times that, I was there every evening, and then I would always have to do Saturday nights there. And the guy that I was seeing at the time in my high school always wanted to get together. And I'm like, dude, I'm babysitting, right? Because I really wanted to buy that pair of Sergio Valente jeans, right? Because this was all about me being able to dress like everybody else.
Exactly.
So, he came over, they were doing this party. And so him and a couple of other his friends dropped by, and we were just in the foyer talking, and the friggin' kids ratted me out.
What?
They ratted me out. I'll never forget that. Stefan and Kristen, you ratted me out. Because sure enough, he was there for like 5 minutes, right? They was like, hey, Tara, right? Came in, and then they left. I'm still babysitting. And then they came home. They used to pay me, they used to pay me $20. But it wasn't $20 a night. They would pay me 50 cents an hour. But they never had anything lower on them than a 20. So they used to give me the 20 and then they used to make me work it off. Yeah, exactly. So then I was like babysitting what felt like for free. So the next day I get a phone call and it's Mrs. Sombrat. And she was like, Tara, can you come over to the house right now? Shit. And then the next time, one other time when I was babysitting with my best friend, Sherry. Shout out Sherry. And we were babysitting her cousins. I feel like they were under 10. And oh my God, we were 13 years old. So we were trying to have a good time. We had the music on, the kids were in bed, we were dancing because, it was all about MTV back then.
Yeah.
And we were always superstars. And then we went into the kitchen and we were getting a glass of pop because we used to buy Pop Shot pop back then. And everybody had that. So we were like, let's have a Coke. And when we went into the kitchen cupboard, there was a carton of cigarettes.
Oh boy.
And so Sherry goes,
boy.
oh, there's cigarettes are here. And I'm like,
no.
Right? And she looks at me. We were terrible. We brought out the worst in each other. We're still tight to this day. So she was like, do you want to? And I'm like, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So sure enough, we try to find a lighter. We light it. We each have a smoke. But then we realize that they're going to be missing 2 cigarettes. So we tried to take our butts and wrap paper towels around them to make it look like a real cigarette was still in there. Mm-hmm. And we got ratted out too. Right. We didn't really we were like, no way will they notice. But I mean, I guess people that smoke count their cigarettes and their packs and their cartons, which is really
they're no joke. Yeah.
BS. And so sure enough, they come home and they have, anyways, we got in so much trouble. I got in so much trouble. So much. Yeah.
Well, I guess lesson 1, kids are snitches. 2, kids are sponges. They just absorb everything.
But you shouldn't rat people out.
Well, they absorb everything whether you want them to or not, and you have no idea who they will release that to.
So much trouble.
Because kids do not have impulse control. They'll
That's
just
one of
say
many.
what's at the top of their head.
You can ask. I'm an open book, Austin. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything for maybe further episodes. But you know what I'm wondering? Because I feel like, we've got a great dynamic with your brother as well, super tight. But we definitely get on each other's nerves.
Of course.
I mean, everybody gets on each other's nerves.
Right.
So I'm gonna take a step out there, and I'm gonna say this to you, and you don't feel like you have to hold back. God help you, maybe later. If you were to say, what is your biggest pet peeve with me?
With
your
you
mother,
specifically.
The woman that birthed you.
Okay.
And let me tell you, 2 days I was in labor with you. Mm-hmm. But what's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh. Well, I guess thinking at the top of my head, I guess if we're talking about something and it's okay, can you do this thing? And I say, okay, sure. And then you keep going. So it's
say an example.
So for an example, if you need something, say you want me to dust the pictures in my basement, and you say, hey, would you mind dusting the pictures down there? And I say, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then you will talk for 10 more minutes about how everything in there needs to be dusted. Why they need to be dusted. And how other people don't dust it as well as you.
Okay. Fair.
And
fair.
And at a certain point, it's I said I'll dust them.
Okay, truth be told, I do that. I don't know what it is. As I'm saying, listen, we got to do this because, here's all the reasons why. Okay, so you know what? I will go on record as saying I'll try not to do that anymore because it is kind of annoying. Is there anything else that bugs me? Bugs you, sorry.
Well, I know for a fact there are things that bug you. But honestly, before we get into anything else, let's do a back and forth with something that
Oh,
I
yeah.
do that pet peeves you.
Okay, what you do that drives me absolutely insane is if I get one more person that comes to me and says, "We've sent Austin a text and he never answers us," I probably will explode yet again on you. It is unbelievable to me
I am
that
very
you
bad
can
at
have
texting
devices,
back.
you can have all this stuff, and when people text you and you're part of a group text, and even when I text you about work, and you'll reply back, "Oh, this drives me crazy." Yeah, that's what you. YEAH. 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 So maybe you could, what is it that stops you from texting back?
Well, frankly, I would answer that. But the thing is, I don't have a good answer for that.
Guilty.
No, I am completely guilty of being really bad at texting.
I don't know what it is. It's like, I get people saying, "I'm trying to reach Austin, he's not responding," or your brother will call me and say, "I texted Austin 3 times." Like, what? And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, just answer already." Would you prefer people to just pick up the phone and call you as opposed to texting?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Silent pause. Okay.
Well, that's sort of the thing is like when I say like short things like yeah or okay, it's like I don't want to go into a message and go like, okay, how do I make this longer? How do I make this so that it doesn't like, how do I make it wordier so that they don't feel like I'm just brushing
You know
them off?
what?
Sometimes all I feel like
You're
I need to
overthinking
say
it.
is okay.
It's not so good on the receiving end.
Fair enough.
Think about it that
Yeah,
way.
fair enough.
Now,
And I'll say yes, I am completely very guilty about that.
Yeah.
B, I like that unlike me, you did not waste any time with saying that. You did not have to think about it.
I have a list, my son. I have a list. It's a long list.
It was immediate to you.
Have you ever thought about, I really want to say this to you, but maybe I shouldn't? What are some things that you should never say to your mom?
No.
You've never thought about that?
No, I'm saying no is the thing you should never say to your mom.
Oh, no.
That'd probably be top of the list number
Always
there.
say yes. Can you cut the grass? Yes. Can you clean the bathrooms? Yes.
There's no positive scenario where
Right.
if you ask me to do something, no is the appropriate answer to that.
Okay.
So at the top of my head, I guess, let's see, another thing that I shouldn't say to my mom is, I get it.
Explain.
Remember my pet peeve?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Austin, can you dust this? Okay.
Oh,
Here's all the
your
reasons
response.
why. And what I don't say at the end of that is, okay, I get it.
Okay.
That is probably another top thing that you probably shouldn't say to your mom.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But maybe you should. Because if it's a pet peeve, if you were to say, "Mom, I love you so much, but I get it," I would hear you. I would totally hear you.
Are you sure? See, like right now I'm in a safe zone because
say
we're in
yes.
a podcast room where people are watching this, so there's evidence if anything happens.
No. Okay. Like there is actually good validation for you to say that for sure. But no. I mean, listen, that's what it's all about. We got to you have to be open with the people that you love the most in the world.
For sure.
Right? And
Yeah.
there are times where I know that I've said to you, I know I'm annoying you right now. I know I'm annoying. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And you say to me, "No, you're not." And I'm like, liar.
Hey, to be fair, like that's like a 50-50 when you say that. Like sometimes when you say that, no, you're genuinely not bothering me. And I'm being like,
Oh,
no,
okay.
seriously, it's okay.
Okay.
And sometimes, yeah, you are completely getting on my
Right.
nerves, but I'm not going
Right.
to admit that. You're my mom. So I'm like, no, you're not.
I I know. Like most of the time, I know that you are. All right. Nothing else that you think, in future that you don't ever want to have to say? Or a question to ask?
Okay. Question to ask. I guess something I wouldn't want to ask you is, does this look funny to you?
Does what look funny to me?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Hashtag don't get it.
All right. So how about this? What's something you would never want to say to me?
Say to you or ask you?
Either.
I feel like, Austin, in all fairness, you and I are such good communicators. I feel like if I think of anything, I say it. But I definitely would never, ever, ever, ever want to know, ask, hear, talk about anything to do with intimacy, your love, like that part of love life. Same thing with your brother. Don't. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
All right. Fair
Off
enough.
topic.
Fair enough. No worries. If anything happens there, I'll make sure I don't tell you.
No, Leah. Yeah, that's a ugh. Yeah. That's an ugh. Yeah. All right. We're ready to wrap it up.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We are so grateful that you are part of our family. Please add a comment in the comments section. We want to know what you think about the podcast. We also want to know some of the things that you want us to chat about as a mom and her son. We are simply laughing through life with a mom and her son. See you next time, everybody.